Alrighty, I have started the recording. Alright, as of the previous session, all of you got incredibly high on shrooms. And so the functional result here is that any of your characters that did not, during the course of last session, have any kind of epiphany about themselves, they can use this as an opportunity to zero their composure in exchange for unlocking a new, or discovering, really, because it's been there all along, discovering one of their legacies, one of the, what do we call them? There was a special name for them, I am blanking on it. Ancestry? Lineage, that's what it is, one of their lineages. So you may, yes, do that for either your characters, any of your characters, and let me know what it is.
So I was trying to think of what sort of nightmare scenario could play out to 0-8 composure one night. And the only thing that I could come up with for Nest was something I actually found quite interesting, which was she said she had a prophetic dream. Now, what that entails, we could talk about, but I want her to have I want them to have like a prophetic dream of something that's going to happen in their future. And right now, Ness does not realize that that was a prophecy. It was just a really intense dream. But when it happens,
so as a player, you do know a little bit about what's coming up in the near future. Do you want this to be a real, actual prophecy of an event that really is going to happen?
Yes, ideally. Okay.
Is there a particular event you would like them to foresee? If not, we can just, once something happens, just retroactively say they called it.
I'm not sure right now, because I'm not sure of how grand of an idea this was. And essentially what I'm doing is I'm taking Prodigy, and this is going to be my catalyst, essentially.
We're getting a new version of Haley. She was a powerful character.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was fun to interact with. Her brain was fun to go into.
For various logistical reasons, she was always an NPC.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is doable. I know
it's Revelation. The catalyst is Revelation, right?
Yeah. And I know of ways of, and I know Ed knows these tricks too. There are ways to write stories for characters that have some degree of future sight, and it's fun and interesting. But this is not the full awakening of your power, but just a
right.
taste.
This is the first. Holy shit! What the fuck was that? Moment.
Right.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was the symbol on the orphanage again? It was, I forgot the.
It is a white owl.
Yeah, my first immediate thought in my head was the owl fracturing in half.
There is an upcoming celestial event you are aware of that, if viewed from a particular perspective, would be horrifying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I forgot to do something during the week because I don't think I was on the same time as Echelon because I was trying to figure out what would be a good because of all the elf bloodlines are all not filled. There's like one or two that have descriptions, but none of them are actually filled.
Which one interested you?
Well, I'm not sure because a lot of them don't have details, so I don't know what they actually do, or like what their history.
All right, so basic history, and you can jump in at any point here, Ed. Basic history of the elves is that they had a continent-spanning empire. It was massive. It was magic, technological, very advanced. They got into a war with the Jorn, who occupied another continent. Both the elves and the Jorn use humans as a form of sort of slave labor. The elves viewed them as sort of vermin, but they still like exploited them for experimentation and stuff. Whereas the Jorn viewed them as like injured or defective Jorn, and so they gave them menial jobs. But it turns out that the humans didn't appreciate either of those stances, and in an attempt to seize power, they reached into the void and summoned a creature from beyond time and space that sank the elven continent and caused other problems beyond that. But in the sinking of the elven continent, the elves sort of got split up into tribes based around kind of how they survived. So there is one of those bloodlines is the one that Shari has, which is the ones the sea elves. They evolved to, we say evolved. They evolved like a Pokemon evolved, not like real evolution. But they transitioned into a form that had gills and could breathe underwater because their continent was underwater. But all of the others in there have some kind of a thing going on about like where they ended up. The Wraithy elves, for example, their tangle got caught up in their eyes, so they can see magic much more clearly. But they're not as good at casting it, but they're really good archers. Yeah. So there's lots of different things going on in there.
Which one of the tribes is more like when I guess was the ones that went into hiding the most?
All right, I do not know. Ed, do you have a?
I mean, there's 13 tribes of elves. If you're from the west, it's very unlikely that you have. So there's 13 tribes of elves. Many of them are lost, so it's unknown whether they exist. So the ones on there are the ones that are reasonable. Let me see what
Okay.
And the tribes were, I mean, they predate. Basically, these groups predate most of them predate the Cataclysm. Right, so they're named after their basically their patriarch or matriarch. So the tribe of Filan, the Filan now occupy. Well, I mean, like it's kind of mixed, but traditionally they occupied Filanacea. They are. It's well, I mean, they're kind of. I guess you call them high elves or something. They're fair and fair-skinned, fair-haired, mostly racist, basically. Culturally, though the lineage isn't part of that really necessarily, but Filanacea is very isolationist right now. The tribe of Salib was in Salibre. Salibre was the old capital of the Elven continent, actually. It was like forward capital. So those are the ones that live in Salibre. The Wraithy elves live in the jungles south of Corlanth. They're pretty rare in the east or in the west. Not super rare, but relatively rare. The Corlan elves are Corlanth.
See, all of these cities used to be at the northern edge of the empire, and all of the ocean to the south used to be a continent. That's one of the reasons why the shoreline here is mostly rocky and not sandy. Is there's only been about 10,000 years for sand to form.
Nuvi, Mern, and Ergoth are all south. So the Ergothian elves live in the islands in the south. They used to be part of the central territories. The Lenarian elves are a newer-ish tribe. They're the ones that can kind of breathe underwater. I guess, like, what is it that you're looking for, Tice?
I guess I'm looking for like when you think of like LG, the ones that are like that like usually don't like that are the scouts and stuff, like the ones that can hide well and like
Reclusive, stealthy. I think the Wraithy kind of fit that mold a little bit, but they wouldn't necessarily get any benefits from their bloodline for it.
No, most elves I don't think would get too many benefits from their bloodline for being stealthy.
Their martial abilities at stealth and scouting were always trained. They weren't something inherent to their species.
yeah, I just don't know exactly like what what kind of bonuses there are to be able to like feel like okay, I want this because like I don't know exactly what the elves can get.
Yeah, I mean, just build for history, and you can figure out bonuses.
Yeah, what do you want their history to be? Forget the bonuses for a second. Like which.
So if you're a Celebran elf, then you're pretty common in the area that you're in, right? Most of the elves living in Celebrae are Celebran elves. Most half elves living in Celebrae are also Celebran elves. Like historically, it's very long. If you're an actual elf, elves can remember some of this stuff, but it's even like the pre-catechism times are old even for elves.
It's been about 10 generations, maybe 12.
Yeah.
10 to 12 in there.
Probably more because the early days of the cataclysm were not very nice to generations. So the Philian elves are the longest lived. They're the ones that kind of get on towards maybe 1,000 years or so. The Celebran elves are shorter lived. I mean, all of them can do anything, I guess. So if you want to be a stealthy forest archer, you can kind of pick any of them.
I don't know why. I just like that name, but the Blood of Mern.
Okay, I'll give it a thought about where they are. They're kind of south.
And mark it on the character sheet, and we'll sort out what we want that to be.
Yeah, and I was curious, is the child of like the upgrade version of it or something?
Blood elves are available to half elves. Child elves are only available to full elves.
Okay, because I know it says you require the other one first.
Correct. Yeah.
Luckily, I'm a full elf.
Right, and you don't have to have only one. So it's entirely possible that you have blood of Salin and blood of Philin. Those are, that's reasonable. There are plenty of mixed species.
Elf mommy and elf daddy could have come from different tribes. It's totally or they could be mixed bloods themselves. That happens quite a bit.
The only restriction is that if you're mixed elf human, you can't get a child.
Okay. Are there any other characters that are getting things from this? From the trippy dreams?
I think I picked some stuff. Let me see what I did.
I know Shari got hers from watching Glup take a tumble.
Mari hasn't picked anything just yet. Neither is Reggie. Shari got quick.
Okay. Reggie had his revelation from tattling, which went very much against his character, but it stressed him out. Mari can have gotten her revelation from the mushroom stew.
Oh no, she's locking herself in a cupboard.
Okay. To get through it, doing it that way. All right. So Tice, you got Elros and Glup. Did Kyleel get something?
Yes. Just one quick question. What was the pips on the costumes?
Oh, 4. Quality 4.
Murray's going to take whatever talent the Sonomancers have. I'm going to say Mercury Fused. It's going to be that one. That sounds Sonomancery. And I'll figure out what that does.
Okay. It's basically a form of prodigy, right?
I'm not sure if it's... Yeah, it's a form of prodigy. It's an upgrade of the labyrinth, basically. I think is what it would be.
Ah, okay.
The form of prodigy, it's an upgrade of the labyrinth. Yeah.
Cool.
An oversensitive labyrinth. It probably brings with it some of the downsides of having a oversensitive sensory organ that can detect pressure.
Locking herself up in a closet is actually a really good way to get that too, because that gives her just her not tangle, her labyrinth to use as sensory input for a while. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Kyleel, I gave him Prodigy Chosen One.
The Chosen One. Uh-oh. What creature chosen?
I'm trying to think about it because he is from where was it called? The Badlands. With Shafethus in it.
Oh, he's from Athos. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he actually from Aptus, or is he just Aptian?
His parents basically smuggled him out. Was it before there was some? You said there was some kind of ritual that happens to people.
They smuggled him out to spare him from the soul implantation ritual.
Okay.
All right, Viv. Let's see. Araxi had an awesome moment to get her upgrade. Wampy, of course, is on track to become a druid. Or something. It seems druidy so far.
It's definitely going down the druidy line. I've labeled it as a druidic nature right now.
All right.
Are there dragon druids? I don't know.
I mean, no, the character wouldn't know one way or the other. Yeah. We with our omniscient vision know that no, there are not, because dragons are not. They're natural in the same way that trolls are natural. They're a byproduct of interaction between magical fields. They're not an animal that occurs naturally.
They're natural in the same way earthquakes are natural.
Right. Which is to say that they're not strictly an organic phenomenon. Did Nest get anything out of that?
Yes, Nest is taking Prodigy for hopefully to eventually go Revelation.
Oh man, we're gonna have a pile of wizards. This is fantastic.
And I'm not so sure what that dream's going to entail. I was actually thinking that, I don't actually want to know this yet, but the event that triggers our move to Celebrate, because we know that's going to happen at some point. I want that to be Nest's dream, I think.
Okay. That would be that celestial event I was referring to, which I think you know. Yeah.
Ah, yes. I do know it now. Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you viewed that from the position of where it lands, that is horrifying.
I don't know. Wasn't that horrifying? I was there. I was standing in that. I was literally standing there.
You had a character that was standing there, and that character was only able to stand there because they had a mega spoon that caused them to separate themselves from reality. Otherwise, that character would not have survived that process.
In this case, Ness definitely vividly viewed the celestial event as like literally falling on their head.
Yeah, it's one thing when it's like you see an object moving in the sky, but when the object gets bigger to the point where it is the sky, and then like you see the details of the terrain, and then like the mountains fit together like teeth around you. Yeah, no, it's horrifying.
I'd say that would be worth 8 composure loss.
Yeah.
Oh man, I bet my character definitely wrote a good detailed report about it.
Alrighty. Okay, so your characters awaken from their own private nightmares, and find that the morning is quite strange. There is not the usual smell of fresh-baked breakfast. There is not the clamor of plates being stacked and prepared. It's eerily quiet. The sun is higher up than it usually is when you're awoken. Yeah, and there's no breakfast on the table downstairs. Miss Maybell is nowhere to be seen, but her two friends, Kottle and Cam, are passed out on couches in the main room downstairs. Kottle seems to have managed to have gotten his boots off, though they're nowhere to be seen. Cam is fully clothed, like he was just sitting on the couch and then fell over. The sound of you children coming downstairs awakens those two adults who are clutching their heads in pain with the hangover of the trip they've just had. Glancing at each other, Kottle kind of mutters, "Shrooms?" And Cam gets up and goes and checks the dirty dishes, which were apparently never done last night. Another strange occurrence that does not often happen in Miss Maybell's house. And does indeed identify that there appears to be some remnants of a hallucinogenic mushroom in the stew from the previous evening. Cam nods to Kottle, looks around, isn't really looking for anyone to blame right now, is just kind of trying to get his bearings. I advise that you will probably want to bring out for this adventure children that have some amount of investigation skill. While not strictly necessary, this may be a little Sherlock Holmes adventure to try and figure out what happened and find out where Miss Maybell is. So, let's just go down the list. Who's bringing out which character?
I am probably bringing out Araxi for this. I don't have any characters with investigation skill, but Araxi could hop up in the trees and hop really high and see really far.
That's a good point, and that will excellently be useful, so good call.
Reggie's being a bit older is protective of the other kids, and so he starts making breakfast. He's going to stay behind and take care of people behind. Shari will help him, and Mari will go out to investigate.
Okay.
Nest ordinarily would be with Reggie, but Nest has not left their room today.
Okay. Nest is getting some extra rest.
Yeah, Elros will come up too. He's not. He is very athletic and very cunning.
All right then.
I'm assuming the orphanage is not on the list of chores you can do today.
It is, but it's going to be mostly self-directed. So that is permitted for staying at the orphanage. That's probably a good idea. Many of the children having such severe hangovers and strange dreams are likely going to need some rest. And having a few children to help out with the chores will definitely be useful. So Cam has decided in his discussion with Kottle, being the older brother, he's going to stay behind and try and clean up while Kottle goes and looks for Miss Maybell. Kottle, however, has no idea where to begin. These two just arrived the previous day. They have not gotten to know anyone in town. They don't know the landscape. They don't know their way around. They discuss such as they're talking about what to do. And at the moment, Kottle does not even know where his boots are.
Well, can I have Whoppy ride around with Kottle's boots?
Whoppy would have to find Kottle's boots first.
Okay.
Well,
I would like What's the role for Whoppy's not actually looking for the boots, but if Whoppy stumbles across the boots, Whoppy will run around with the boots.
Unlikely, but I guess 2 successes on an investigation. Investigation plus cunning, because you're trying to get it fast. A focused search would be better for finding them, but it doesn't sound like Whoppy is doing focused searches right now.
No, Whoppy has come bounding down the stairs with as much energy as it's possible for an 8-year-old halfling to have.
So outside, next to the steps that lead up to the house, and next to some very muddy footprints, there are a pair of boots. These are knee-high boots that Kottle typically wears, all laced up and pretty looking. Kottle is a tailor, so they're very stylish. They are not just soaked, but are actually still full to the brim with seawater.
Alright. Jackie's not here to react to this, but Whoppy absolutely dumps the seawater on top of Troppy.
oh wait a second. Who's going to be watching the kids?
So,
the three.
Looks like Reggie's taking charge for taking care of things along with Cam, which is the wizard that came to cast immunization spells on the kids to protect them from the plagues.
See, I was talking about the 3 kobolds? I always keep on forgetting what they're called. I'm bad with that.
The gnolls?
Yeah, the 3 gnolls.
The 3 gnolls are scampering about unsupervised. So it appears that no one is looking after them at the moment. They are somewhat looking after each other, but it's 2 5-year-olds and a 2-year-old. with cat-like agility, and in one case, size.
Well, if you're looking for Miss Maybell, we might want to check her room first.
All right, the three of you investigating go into Miss Maybell's room. Her bed is made, but not freshly made. It appears to only be in a condition of like a day. So it seems that she did not return to her bed the previous evening, but also was not here in the morning to straighten it out again. So it's just not disheveled, but just like kind of, you know, the few times someone's had to sit on it, that hasn't been smoothed out yet. Her glasses are on her nightstand.
So those are the ones that she needs to wear to go around places, right?
Yes,
So
she almost
took
always
off her-
is wearing a pair of glasses. They're very, very wide rims. Very large. They almost make her look like an owl with extra big eyes.
Araxi's going to pick them up and like peer through them.
Alright, make an investigation check.
I mean, so sort of just looking through the glasses, but investigation plus, I guess, perception makes sense.
Yep.
Dice love me today.
They do. It appears that the world is just a little bit brighter when you're looking through her glasses. Shadows don't seem as dim. Yeah, it's almost like there's some kind of magical effect on the glasses that enhances vision so that shadows are not as big an issue for someone wearing them.
So she came into her room and took her glasses off, and then
Did something.
is her window still closed?
Yes.
And everything is in order in here? Nothing seems to be like knocked off or like...
Nothing seems to be out of place.
So her glasses are here, her staff's outside, you said, right?
Her staff is outside.
Alright. Araxi, she's going to take the glasses with her when she leaves. I assume they don't really fit a Anu face, even with like it being a small Anu.
Yeah, I mean, you can still you can look through one of the lenses.
Yeah, I
So
can
you
like hold
you
them
can
up,
effectively use them. Yeah.
but I can't just wear them.
Right. They're not going to be a stylish fashion piece on you, but they're usable as an object.
You said from the second story that you can climb onto the roof from there.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna go up onto the second floor. And I'm gonna like climb out the window and like do like a walk around to see if I can see anything from a vantage point.
Excellent. You can either make an investigation plus perception or investigation plus focus. There will be different results for the two. Focus means you're taking your time. You're being very slow and meticulous and checking everything. And perception means you're relying on your keen senses to direct you to the things of import.
I'm gonna do focus.
Okay? All right. Your meticulous investigation of the roof reveals that there appears to be some leftover bits of a sandwich up here. And underneath the leftover bits of a sandwich, there are some boot prints heading off to the south. As though someone had a snack here, jumped down, and walked south. to an adult, dropping down one floor is not an impactful event. To a child, it is a delightful adventure through the sky.
This adventure means like it's gonna hurt if you land.
Maybe. It's going to be an athletics check.
Sure, I will.
Okay. Athletics plus vigor. If you don't get at least one success, you'll take attacks when you land. You succeed. It was unnecessary. You could have just walked down the stairs, but it was fun. You had fun.
Yeah.
So in the soft grass, you can see disturbances look like 2 pairs of boot prints that went from here to the south. South is towards the fishermen's stuff. The docks where they keep the boat and, yeah, their little shed and things.
All right, I found footprints. They head towards the docks.
Perhaps, but others are investigating some other things. What was going on over by the staff? Mari, I know you had some previous experience with the staff. Did you want to take another look at it?
Sure. I mean, so it's still there?
It is.
Is it rooted?
It looks like it's rooted, but you'd have to take a hold of it to check. It's standing upright in the middle of the front yard.
I'll head over to the staff.
Okay.
And I will touch it and see if it comes up.
It comes up into your hands.
Okay, I hold the staff and I say, "Hello, I'm Mari."
The staff seems to be a piece of living tree. It has little green leaves on it that flutter in the breeze. It doesn't answer you.
Right.
But, yeah.
I say, "I'm Mari, and we're looking for Miss Maybell. And maybe you can help us."
In its current state in your hands, the staff has no answer.
Okay. Well, I'm going to carry it with me.
Okay. Staff and glasses acquired. And it seems that some boot prints in the grass heading south are present. Also, I don't know if anybody's going to check in with Wampy, but Wampy found boot prints on the road as well. They were muddy, and they ended in a pair of boots full of seawater that has been dumped upon Trompy's head. Is that information transferring to the rest of the party?
I think it would transfer to the rest of
the rest
party,
of everyone when Trompy starts screaming, right?
Right.
Fair enough. So you know that as well. It seems that Kottle's boots were full of seawater, and there are boot prints, basically muddy footsteps from those boots on the road. But those seem to be him coming back. So 2 tracks lead out and 1 track leads back. Seems like a good lead so far.
Yeah. And you said her staff was living wood?
Yes. Complete with leaves on it. Kottle comes hopping out, finally getting his boots on. They do not look comfortable. They're still soaked. He says, wait, kids, I'm coming with you.
Where's Miss Maybell?
I don't know. I don't remember anything that happened last night. It looks like some maybe not so good mushrooms were in the stew, and not blaming anybody. Could be an honest mistake, but Miss Maybell and I have a little bit of a history with these mushrooms, so I'm not sure where she is, because I don't remember what happened, but I think we should go look for her.
I think one of the kids mentioned something about like helping us get a hero awakening or something last night.
Oh boy. Well, I'll let Miss Maybell deal with that. That is outside of my pay grade.
Does the staff give any kind of thing, like might give the part of my brain that has a tangle any kind of effect?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you like even so much as like brush up against the staff, your tangle just lights up. It's like, whoa.
I'm also going to have, if this is all possible, Raxi's going. Now that blue moss that we got a while ago, that's like growing across our walls now, right?
Yep.
And it's still glowing even without water.
It is, yeah, on the wall.
Araxi's going to peel some of that off and take that with us.
When you take it off of the walls, it stops glowing.
Araxi's going to go get a little like cup of water or something.
Good call. A light source. Being prepared.
Araxi has glasses, cup of plant, I guess.
Miria, would I be able to hold? Eros says, would I be able to hold on to that staff for a second? Maybe I can figure out more stuff about it while we're walking along. My kind are more attuned to that kind of stuff.
She shrugs and says, I mean, you're not a wizard, though.
It's one of those things that, like, I mean, technically it's true, but neither is Mari. None of them are wizards. But Mari really thinks she's a wizard. I love it.
She shrugs and says, you can hold on to it, I guess. But if anything serious happens,
I'll hand it back to you so you can cast spells.
So, Elros has neither the training nor really any idea what to do with a magic staff. All that you know is that it has magic in it, because you can feel that. But that's about it. You're not even sure what kind of magic it is.
Well, I can always do what every famous person does, just randomly think of things until something happens while we're walking along.
that's how elves die.
Trial and error with the magic staff. I see no consequences of this.
You guys find, well, the footprints become a bit spotty because the terrain isn't, great for this sort of thing. You guys do eventually make it all the way to the where the fishing family lives, at the docks. They're like sort of a little confused. Like they were planning to head out. Everyone's much later than they should be for kids that are showing up to go fishing.
We're not going fishing. We're looking for Miss Maybell.
Is Lorpin there as well?
Yes.
Araxi's going give Lorpin a hug, go Lorpin, Captain, we Miss Maybell's missing.
Lorpin looks a little bit alarmed. The captain, on the other hand, kind of sighs and lowers his head like he knows something.
I was thinking, like, we tracked the footprints all the way down here to the docks. So maybe she's in the water somewhere. We need to go find Miss Maybell.
Captain says, it's not my place to say, but I did see Miss Maybell and the young gentleman here come by to visit the diving hole, and I closed my shutters to give them their privacy.
They jumped off the diving board to reveal their superpowers as well.
He says, I'm sure it was something of that nature. He gives Kottle a sideways glance. Kottle is turning quite red, but he goes over to the area and says, yes, there is something familiar here. The children of the fishermen are kind of snickering behind a box, making comments. Lorpin shouts at them to get back to work loading the crates.
So you two went onto a magical adventure? Is that what happened?
It would seem so, Kottle says. But if that's the case, then I came back to the orphanage. She didn't. She must have gone somewhere else. There's got to be some clues around here as to where she went.
Yeah.
Araxi has like instinctually began helping the kids load the the fishing vessel, even though she's not actually helping out that day.
I guess we'll head to the diving spot to go above to see where we can find.
Okay. Araxi, make a connections check for me, please.
All right.
Okay, thank you. All right, so it does look like some footprints go up to the diving rock.
Guess we follow them.
Are you going to jump off the diving rock into the water?
But first, I gotta see exactly like if I like how clear the water is and stuff to see if I might be able to see like if something might have fallen off when they had jumped in, or if I have to dive in first.
You don't see anyone in the pool below. This pool is it's not exactly isolated like the ocean comes in here, so it's more like a tide pool kind of thing, but it's fairly deep.
Araxi could just swim and take a look.
Yes.
Araxi's going to swim and take a look.
You find at the bottom Miss Maybell's shoes. The rest of her's not there, but her shoes are there.
All right. I'm going to swim up with like Miss Maybell's shoes, like carry them and just like go to call like these familiar? This jog of memory?
He says, right, I think she was commenting on losing them. I still can't remember.
Oh, how did they end up in the water? You don't just lose your shoes by in the water.
Mari says, my second cousin on my father's side, he lost his shoes in the water. We lost the rest of them in the water as well. It's a terrible flood.
Well, that's not losing your shoes. That's dying.
Well, I was just saying that because we found his shoes eventually.
Maybe there's some footprints in the beach area, like where you come out of the water pool. I guess we'll head to where you would like get out of the pool.
All right. Make another investigation plus focus check.
Success.
That's for you. It was easy to find where some footprints, these no longer booted, but the softer prints of bare feet continue. What was difficult and took a little bit of scanning to figure out is that it looks like at some point she came out of the water, sat down, facing the water with her feet in it, and then later left. It is entirely possible she took off her shoes on purpose.
See, to feel the water on her feet.
Yes, certain it was that.
Rax is going to turn to Kottle and say, next time you two want to feel the water on your feet, don't chuck your shoes into the ocean.
He says, I will remember that. And he is quite red in the face.
Or at least, like if you want to like sit back and relax over here, you should just invite some of us. We also like enjoy having our feet in the water.
Here the tracks diverge. It looks like one set of tracks heads back towards the orphanage, most likely Kottle's tracks, because that's where his boots ended up. And the other tracks, they head uphill towards the village, but not along the road. They just kind of head straight east.
I see. So you two departed at some point.
Seems like it. What's in that direction, kids?
What isn't that? That's towards the city.
Towards it, but the first thing you'd have to pass through is the dairy farm.
First thing you'd have to go through is a dairy farm.
Oh no, was she messing with cows?
Well, I guess we gotta find out. Some might say that's unheard of.
Araxi goes fishing.
Kottle says, now I want you kids to remember that it's not nice to play pranks on sleeping cows.
Yes, I know. Miss Maybell would be utterly disappointed.
Is Araxi fishing for anything particular?
No, Araxi just like storms off after hearing that.
Oh,
and like has to cool off for a moment.
Mari says, it would be insane. Why would you play? What kind of trick would you play on a sleepy cow? That must be really dangerous. I mean, they've got horns and fangs and claws.
Wait, what cows are you talking about?
Cows. You get milk from them.
Dwarves get milk from a very different animal than you would recognize as a cow.
Last time I checked, they don't have fangs.
The milking beetles do. It's an underground thing. In any case, Kottle says, well, you're at least right about the horns. It's not very nice. It's not very safe. And I don't want you kids learning bad habits from me. But as I understand it, when Miss Maybell was very young, or so she's told me, she used to sneak into fields and push over cows.
Mari's utterly confused, like just completely baffled by this. She's like, I mean, like flip them over? They're big, and I don't even know how you would begin to do. You would need some sort of leverage or something. I mean, like,
I can only tell you that in my experience, Miss Maybell is a very clever and often very motivated person. And I'm certain that she would be ashamed that you kids have found out about this, and so let's just keep all this amongst ourselves, and let's go find out if anything bad happened to any cows last night.
Mari says, "That's fine. I'll keep it quiet. I'm just impressed and all. I mean, they've got 6 legs, so I mean, it's really hard. They're really stable."
6 legs? They have 4.
Mari's going to be just blown away when she, in a moment, sees an actual cow.
So let's go see the cows then.
So while the road here goes north, instead traveling east, you come upon the fence that keeps the pasture of cows, and further in, goats as well, in their grazing area, where they nibble on grasses to their heart's content before being rounded up for milking. It's not quite noon yet. Many of the cows are still out in the pasture, and many of the workers are out there as well.
So Mari is completely amazed by this and is asking about all of the cow stuff and how it works and where the milk comes from. She's utterly disgusted and doesn't intend to drink milk anymore. But she thinks it's gross that it comes out of a big fleshy sack.
The Merkel's Dairy Farm is actually a pretty advanced operation in terms of its size and capacity. So they do employ lots of people who tend to the animals, and then the Merkels themselves operate the refining of the milk into butter, cheese, and other things, including drinking milk. So they have quite a operation going on at the main house, but out here in the fields, it's mostly the younger generation. So their kids, and in probably about another 10 years, their grandkids will start actually doing some work with the animal handling out here. They do also hire local children to help out. So this was one of the various options. And here you could train in athletics, taming, labor, medicine, piloting, and unarmed. The unarmed comes from wrestling the smaller animals into their pens.
Araxi is going to shout, "This is going to be a weird question, but were any of your cows upside down this morning?"
Make a connections check. You're not able to find anybody that has that piece of information.
Going to nudge Qual.
Your microphone cut out. You said nudge Kottle?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm going like nudge Qual, like pulling on his like shirt. Go ask if any of the cows were upside down.
Kottle sighs. Okay. I don't know any of these people, and they don't know me. Is there someone you can introduce me to? I don't think any of the kids attend chores here. So.
No.
I guess we could go to the main family house and talk to them.
Yeah, so that's what he's going to do.
I look at Kottle and say, "I can see how you can tip these things over. They're very top heavy." Cows, you say? Cows. And Mari pulls out a small notebook and scribbles some notes down.
So Model proceeds to the main cheese-making building, looking for the proprietor. At first, they think that it's like a traveling potential customer. They're getting ready for their sales pitch. And he very embarrassingly and clearly taking composure damage, asks if his friend was out causing trouble in their fields the previous evening. And at first, they're kind of upset that there was somebody out in their fields until they find out it was Miss Maybell. And then they're a little concerned. Like, she's missing. Well, that's very concerning.
Yeah, we think she might have tipped all your cows over.
Yeah, it turns out we all had a magical mushroom adventure last night, and we woke up this morning and she was missing.
Yeah, Miss Maybell spiked her food.
It turns out that they decide they're just going to blame Kottle for that. They start chastising him about how to properly raise and care for children. Hey, it's the Bugalo! I remember that episode. Eventually, though, they come around to saying, okay, well, if Miss Maybell is tipping cows again, then I'm sure that one of our kids would have seen it, as they were on night watch last night. So they go and they ask their kids about it, and the kids say, actually, no, we didn't. We did see some things moving through, but we scared them off. It looked like wild animals. Parents asked, like, what kind of wild animals? Like, looked like wolves or something. We just ran at them shouting with sticks, and they ran off. We did a count of the herd. There wasn't anything missing.
We're assuming Miss Maybell's not a witch like the other wolf people.
To your knowledge, no. At no point in time have you ever seen her transform into any kind of animal.
Did the track stop somewhere when we were walking through?
They got very difficult to follow once they were mixed in with all the animal tracks. But yeah, but the kids who work here are able to show you where they saw the wolves.
So Miss Maybell was kidnapped by wolves. Wolves. Araxi's just racking her brain trying to remember where she knows wolves from, but because she's never met the druids, can't remember.
Maybe it's the wolf people. Mari remembers vividly. They're hypocrites, she says.
Oh, right. They're mean, right?
Mari shrugs. And says, I don't know if they're mean or not, but they're not very bright.
Well, if the wolves kidnapped Miss Maybell, the wolf people, they're the herbalists. We should go to herbalist. And Araxi like leaps out. It just
Kottle's like, you have wolf people in this town?
Yes,
I do
come
not.
Come on, Con. We'll explain on the way.
I do not get out to the country often enough.
I don't know if they're from this town, but they're definitely around here.
Yeah, the herbalist's mother is a druid, and she has friends that are druids.
Oh, druids. All right.
They chased off the not troll, whatever that thing is.
Huh.
Yeah, they tried to kill Trollfred.
Troll friend? You found a friendly troll? You said it's not a troll, though.
No, because trolls aren't friendly.
Right. That would be ridiculous to see something friendly that's a troll.
Ness said it was a troll, though.
Well, all right. Let's go talk to this herbalist. I think that's the best lead we've got right now, kids. Kottle seems to be trying to take control of the situation as an adult. Kottle's composure, though, has definitely been worn down by this journey. You imagine if Kottle had a similar experience with the mushrooms previous night, he probably didn't start with all that much composure to begin with anyway. And so you end up on the road heading into town. And you arrive at the town square. It's gotten on to about noon, but you're here. There are all the shops as they are. The lunch rush is getting started as various travelers who stop here for Grammy's cooking are doing just that.
Araxi runs off to get cookies. It comes back and says, "You know, there's some things about this place that I like."
Grammy has an excellent strategy for maintaining the loyalty of children.
One day soon, I might have another cookie.
Alrighty. Mari has been spending an enormous amount of time with the herbalist. So, yeah, you're basically on first name basis. Like, you can just go in and ask questions.
Okay, I mean, I'll just go ahead and say, we're looking for Miss Maybell. She got lost.
The herbalist seems somewhat more alarmed than the dairy farmers do. Says, "What do you mean lost?"
Well, she went to the docks and she went swimming, I think, with someone, and then lost her shoes. But then she walked into the dairy farm, and then she was at the dairy farm, I think, but we kind of lost the tracks from there. And then something about wolves. So I don't really know what to ask. Have you seen her or any idea where she might be?
We think Araxi likes munching on cookies in the background. We think she went to tip over some cows and got kidnapped by the wolf people.
They did have a weird. From one of the, I've heard from some of the kids that they did have a weird interaction, Miss Maybell and the druids.
Willica kind of sighs, face palms a bit, and says, "Oh, mother, what are you doing?" "Okay, kids, can one of you go and grab the sheriff? I need to get some supplies."
Okay, I'll go get him. He loves me.
Araxi's already like God is like leaping across, like just tested out these little glider things.
They're very effective.
Yeah. Araxi's just having a grand old time. Araxi suddenly has just a burst of energy you've never seen her have before.
All right, and let's see, Tice, you said you're going to get the sheriff?
Yeah.
Okay, you arrive at the sheriff's office. Sheriff is on the front porch giving instructions to deputies by ordering children to carry letters to them across town.
Boy, I've got some good news for you. My usual good news.
What is it, Elros?
We think that a bunch of we all got accidentally drugged by mushrooms last night, which caused Miss Maybell to vanish in the night. And we think that Willica's mother might have kidnapped her based on weird interactions they had before.
Oh dear. Well, that's not the worst person that could have kidnapped her, but that's still a bad situation. Okay. Give me just a moment. I'm gonna get a deputy, and we're gonna go look for her.
Yes, the herbalist sent me.
Excellent. Tell you what, I'm gonna meet you back at the herbalist's hut. I just got to get some deputies organized so that I can leave my post here and handle this in person. You did a good thing coming to me.
Okay. As he turns around, I'm gonna pelt him in the back of the head with the tomato and run.
What was it, Elros, that was doing all that stuff?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Would I call this cunning?
I would call this agility.
Okay. I forget if I have to use the talent first before I roll.
That's your target number to beat.
What do you?
I'm not going to beat that at all.
But we'll see how far you come from beating it, won't we?
What do you mean? Use talent before you roll? What was the question?
Oh, I have agile, the one that lets you get to like bonus successes.
Yeah. So talent costs don't ever have side effects. That's core rules. So if you're rolling your agility and you tax your agility by 2 for a talent, then the tax happens at the end of the turn.
All right. So the sheriff dodges it, doesn't manage to catch it, just kind of like instinctively dodges it, gives you some side eye. Say, saw that coming. I'm learning to be careful around you, kid. You actually hear him say to one of his deputies, he said, as you get almost out of earshot range, like, we need to get that kid on staff. Having him around is good for training. Bear in mind, this is the same guy whose father hires children to rob his store to keep his own staff on their toes. So, yeah. This is sort of a family trait. All right, you return to the herbalist, and shortly thereafter, the sheriff arrives. She's gathered up some healing potions and some other potions. And she's got her backpack on, and she's ready to head out. She says, okay, kids, normally I would tell you all to go home. But the reality here is we need to do a search, and we need to do it quickly. So I want you all to obey these very simple rules. If you find my mother or any of her wolf friends, you call out and you come find us. Don't try to rescue Miss Maybell on your own. Understood?
Understood.
Understood.
Mari nods.
All right. Let's head into the forest. So everybody go ahead and make an exploration. I'm sorry. Is it exploration? Yeah. Exploration plus perception roll.
Araxi is going to climb a tree to get a better look.
That really ought to give you some kind of huge bonus. How many? I know that like your talents give you bonus pips to jumping and stuff, right?
Yes.
All right, so just include all those pips in this check.
All right. So my gift in climbing, right?
Your gift in climbing and your gift in gliding should both have some amount of bonus, I think. Maybe it's just the climbing one.
The glide one isn't listed.
Okay, just do the climbing one then, but include all those pips in this roll as bonus.
Perception plus what? Exploration?
Yes. Okay, you start to pick up the trail. It is becoming rather apparent that Miss Maybell was not taken of her own volition, as you're finding little fragments of her normally perfect white robe that always seems to be perfectly laundered and perfectly worn. Now you're seeing little shreds of it caught on twigs and things. It's a little bit disturbing. For the next roll, if you do not complete the total task, which is what? Wow, you guys! All right, I just realized that you guys are only rolling 3 dice in total per turn. Yeah, so if you do not complete the task on this next roll, all of you are going to take a little bit of composure damage, just 1 point. But the panic is starting to rise, as it looks like she might be in trouble.
And I forget, if you can't take composure damage...
There are various other things that you can apply that damage to. You can apply it directly to skills and abilities. You should also have some amount of avoid, resist, and notice that you can apply it to.
Okay.
But if in the end you cannot pay it by any means, or you choose not to pay it, then you lose control of your character. You will essentially be in a state of panic and unable to determine the character's fate. But I am hopeful that with all those pips, I think now that you're deeper in the woods, that you'll be able to get the results you need in conjunction with the adults that are helping you.
Can I argue these as bigger rolls? Given that I'm still climbing between trees and stuff and climbing down and up from things.
If you would like to, you could make a vigor roll to help a party member get up into the trees, and then your result could become pips for them.
All right. Yeah, I think I'll do that.
Okay. Actually, not just pips, dice. Your results will become dice for them.
I'm basically just going to pick up like Mari, because Mari's the smaller one, and just jump into the tree with them.
Hopefully Mari does not object to becoming a flying dwarf briefly.
Mari is heavy.
Yeah, just because they're short doesn't mean dwarves aren't sturdy.
Tice's character is way lighter.
Does Araxi know that, though?
About to find out.
Also, I'm an excellent agility myself, so I could probably get up a tree as well.
So this is vigor plus acrobatics, right? I guess.
I would have considered this athletics, given that you're trying to lift Mari, but yeah, we can go either way.
It's more a performance art, really.
This is some like twin trapeze routine.
Do I get my pips as well?
Yes.
Because this is.
Okay, you've given Mari an extra 3 helper dice for her roll.
Okay, so 2 questions. First of all, wandering through the woods, exploring is not my thing, right? But investigation's fine. So also, I kind of know some stuff. Like I've been looking at maps and various stuff around the area, trying to figure out where we are. I've been doing a lot of reading. Like, would I have an idea? We have a rough idea about what direction we're going. What's over there? Like, where would they take her? Is there any sort of like landmarks or special things that I've come across? Or, I mean, I've been looking at maps and stuff of the general area in the woods.
So notably, they are not taking her towards the clearing, the dark clearing. They're taking her somewhere else entirely. They're actually all the way over on the other side of the woods from the miller's mill. So you don't know of any specific landmarks over there, but you do have a good idea of that. If you'd like to use your investigation instead of your exploration, I'll allow that. I will also allow the use of any equipment that you or your party members may have that might enhance your vision.
Oh, Araxi's going to put the hold the glasses up as well for the next one.
Would you like to let Mari use the glasses?
Yeah, actually.
So these glasses are a 10 pip item.
Oh, nice. Very good glasses. All right, what skill did you say I was allowed to use? Like investigation?
You can use investigation for this one if you want, since you're using rationality to deduce the location instead of wilderness exploration and navigation experience.
And cunning or focus or something instead of perception? Is that a reason?
It would definitely be cunning. You're not going to be up there long enough for focus.
Okay.
And then 3 helper dice.
And 3 helper dice and 10 pips. Okay, good. You cleared it. I was getting worried that you guys were just going to start taking like brutal attacks with only rolling 3 dice at a time there. All right. Yeah. So you spot. There's a place in the woods, and it's hard to exactly make out, but it looks like Miss Maybell is either tied to or somehow attached to a tree in the woods to the east, up a little rise. When you come back down to the ground, you're able to give very clear instructions to the adults who warn you kids to stay behind them as they go approach the clearing. Or not really a clearing, it's just a big tree.
Araxi's going to stay in the trees by like the tree line.
Okay.
Elros is going to start moving a bit faster, just like to go into the bushes and like try to like see if you can get there first.
Okay. Make your athletics check to just run ahead, unless you wanted to be stealthy. If you want no one to notice.
Stealthy.
No? Okay.
Yes, I want to be more stealthy.
You want to be stealthy? All right. Well, this is going to be a stealth check then. Stealth plus agility.
Sure, why not? I will spend an agility to get 2 successes due to defeat Grace.
Grace is a good one. Like, those basic talents are really nice. Bit of a cost to using them, but the results are that in a pinch you can really pull out some good numbers.
Yeah, I just need to get some experience to put stealth in. So yeah, 2 successes.
Where did you roll?
Do I add them, or because was it Grace says instead of dice, it's just pure successes?
Oh, okay. I thought it added successes to your die. All right, so it just converts them into successes. All right, you got 2 successes. So you manage to you go stealth into the bushes, and you manage to sneak up. You're arriving pretty much at the same time as the sheriff, who's also a really good woodsman. He's pulled his short bow off of his shoulder. He's got an arrow in his hand. He has not yet drawn the string, because he's not like ready to threaten somebody, but he can draw and fire very quickly. You've seen that in action. You've also seen that he's very accurate. And so you come upon the scene first. Do you still have the staff in your hand?
Yes.
You feel the staff pull itself away from you.
I'll let it go.
Okay. Mari, you are you still holding on to the glasses, or did you give them back to Araxi?
I mean, unless Araxi asked for them back, I would probably be holding on to them. I might still be wearing them, actually.
Araxi?
Yeah, Araxi would not have asked for it back. Araxi basically is just in the trees with her little boss cup.
Okay. Mari, I want you to make a perception plus probably investigation. Okay, so as you're rushing forward, something kind of catches on the glasses and pulls them out of your grip, but you're fast enough to turn and see that a stick, a branch from a tree that caught it, is actively wrapping around the glasses and pulling them into itself. And so, at the tree, Tice, you're there. The sheriff is there. There are 4 druids, 2 women, 2 men, standing in a ring around this, kind of a half circle actually, around this tree, where vines seem to have attached Miss Maybell to the tree. It will be a moment before the herbalist catches up. So you kids with your energy and the sheriff with his rigorous physical training were able to get there a little bit faster than her. But she'll be there next round. What do you guys want to do? Tice, you absolutely get to go first since you scampered ahead and hid.
So it looks like everyone's focused like on the sheriff right now, right?
The druids are splitting their focus between the sheriff and Miss Maybell. One of the druids is ignoring the sheriff entirely, and that would be the herbalist's mother. So Willika's mother, the east wind, is just staring up at the tree.
Is anyone like looking behind them? Or like I'm
Yes.
guessing you said okay.
2 of the druids are looking behind. They see the sheriff arrive. They don't see you yet.
So I was saying if there's a way to get behind that the tree where Miss Maybell is.
Yes. Do you want to do it quickly or stealthily?
I want to do it quickly.
Okay. Make an athletics check, and you just break into a sprint so you can get past him and around to the back of the tree.
Well, because I want to get to near where the branches or the vines are.
The vines are a little bit up the tree. She's not like at the bottom. She's being held up in the air by the vines, wrapped around her and the tree. It's like she's been tied to the tree with rope about 10 feet up in the air, but instead of rope, it's vines that have reached up from the forest floor.
Okay, so there's areas in the forest floor where there's vines coming out of?
Yes. You want to go cut them?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to make a perception plus probably also investigation. Okay, no worries. So you make it up, and you cut the vines. I presume. I presume that was your intention.
Yes.
Okay.
With my rusty hand axe.
Alrighty. You cut the vines, and they seem to be weakening and slipping off of Miss Maybell. Did anyone else want to take an action this round before the herbalist gets here?
Yes. So I imagine, having been on a fishing boat for a very long time, Araxi has learned sort of how to, some like quick, like improvise like tools or something that, Lorpin might have taught her, you know, given that she basically follows around Lorpin like a pet. Sorry, Internet.
No worries.
So I want to like look around me in the tree and just try and make like a little improvised like spear or sharp knife.
A sharpened stick is an easy thing to do in a tree.
Yeah. And that's all I want to do right now. And I'm still going hacked in the tree. My original plan was to go glide and cut Miss Maybell down from her like prison, but it appears that that's been done.
So you have basically a sharp stick. If you would like to, you can make a resources check to see if you're able to get a particularly good quality stick. So I'm going to say your base stick is quality 1, but we'll add 1 for every success you get on your resources check here.
Sorry, can you say that again? I lost it.
So your base quality on your sharpened stick is quality 1, but every success you get on your resources check that you're about to make will increase its quality by 1.
And resources is just resources, right?
Just resources, yeah. This is your representation of your ability to scavenge and get things. Sometimes with money, sometimes just by utilizing.
It's quality 1.
It's quality 1. You have a quality 1 sharpened stick. Did Mari want to do anything before the herbalist catches up?
I think I'm just going to wait for the adults because that's what they told me to do. Yeah.
One child who listens.
Araxi hasn't technically broken the rules yet.
Araxi's just being prepared, which is excellent. Araxi's been like a really good frog scout. This is... You should start like a thing, a club or something.
A club of what?
There's other Anu, but it doesn't have to be Anu. You just call it the Frog Scouts.
Mari's going to pick up a handful of dirt, and she's going to prepare a pocket sand spell.
Magic, yeah. All right. The sheriff, of course, is he's got his bow. It's not drawn yet, but he's the arrow is notched. He says, "What's going on here?" And at this moment, the Willica, the herbalist, comes up behind him, panting. Looks up at the figure that is tied to the tree, although the vines are starting to come loose. And she says, "Please don't kill her." And her mother turns around and says, "Darling, I'm not going to kill her, but she needs to learn not to meddle in forces she does not understand." And Willica says, "I'm sorry, Mother, I wasn't talking to you." At this point, the vines fully fall away from Miss Maybell, and Miss Maybell does not come out of the tree. Instead, the tree conforms itself to her like a throne. From out of one of the little knots in the side of the tree, a branch brings out her glasses, and from another notch on the other side, a branch brings out a little piece of mud from the ground. She takes the mud and draws lines over her eyes and puts on the glasses and looks very much like an owl perched in the tree.
Mari says, "Miss Maybell's really weird." And she looks at the other adults and says, "Are all humans this weird?"
Araxi says that Miss Maybell is really cool. And looks around and says to the trees, "Are all humans cool?"
So Miss Maybell sees that there's children here, looks around and asks one very, very simple question that seems to echo from multiple directions at once. Says, "Are any of you hurt?"
No, are you?
So that's a no from Elros.
Araxi goes, no, this is awesome.
Margie thinks about it for a second and then pats herself over and says, "No, I'm okay."
No children were hurt. I think that all can be forgiven. And the tree gently lowers her to the ground, and a piece of the tree kind of that was being held in her hand as she came down just forms into her staff. The druidess and her compatriots are just kind of looking in awe. It's like she could have gotten out of here any time she wanted. That seems strange to them. And she picks up on this and says to them, "You're not very good druids if you can't tell the difference between a troll and a tree spirit." And she just starts walking away down the hill. She holds out her hand for each of the children to come with her and begins escorting you guys back down the hill.
I give the druids a dirty look and I say, "Told you it wasn't a troll."
Araxi comes like scampering down from the trees and just starts inundating Miss Maybell with questions.
As you walk away, you can hear a conversation starting up between Willica and her mother. Willica is basically going to like, "You have no idea what you almost got into." There's tears in her eyes and her voice, and then they're out of earshot. And you proceed down the hill. What kinds of questions are you asking Miss Maybell?
Firstly, it's just like a bunch of, "Oh, I didn't know you could be like one with the trees. Like that's so cool. Is it okay if I still climb trees?" And then eventually it gets to like a directed like, "So how did you learn to do all of that?"
She stops at that question, kind of kneels down, and gathers all of the children in front and says, "There are bad people that want to hurt children. And what hurts us the most in trying to protect you is that the more we tell you about them, the easier a time they have trying to hurt you. So our best protection against them is for them to not know what they're up against. So I am so sorry that I can't give you details about my life and my abilities. It's for your protection, but someday, I promise, you will learn."
Yeah, that is a pretty cool magic staff you have.
She smiles, thanks you, and proceeds walking.
Oh, and we have your shoes. Apparently you left them in the pool.
She turns red as a beet. All right, you guys.
Oh, also, Araxi's going to ask, "So why did you put all the mushrooms in our food last night?"
She says, "That was not me, and we're going to have a discussion about culinary experimentation with all the kids present. I'm not going to accuse or punish anyone today, but we need to make sure everyone knows that preparing food is my domain. And I do not, I will happily examine anything that you children want prepared, but I will not be tolerating children altering my recipes." When you get back to the orphanage, the extended director's cut of that speech is a discussion of how the different children have different allergies and different metabolisms, and things that might be okay for, say, Mari to eat might poison Elros, and vice versa. She tells all the kids that she has spent some time studying what all of their dietary needs and abilities are, and is preparing foods accordingly, and she needs to make sure that nobody adds ingredients to her food without her knowledge ever again. So you very easily could have poisoned each other, and this is a very bad thing. The scolding is a bit stressful, so if they hadn't been taxed into oblivion already, I would have had the guilty parties receive some tax for that, but they're already pretty much zeroed out.
Well, the guilty parties technically would have cleared it because they slept that night.
Okay, so the triplets then,
And,
yeah, they suffer some tax for their scolding. I say 2 points. We'll just nullify what the sleep gave them. And now you have an opportunity to tell your friends about your adventure.
So, we woke up this morning a little bit later than usual. We came downstairs to find not Miss Maybell, but a couple of her friends there. Well, of course, you were there. So the crack of our best people decided to go hunting down to find the missing Miss Maybell. I cleverly climbed the roof and found tracks leading to the beach. Right after that, I did a miraculous backflip off the roof and landed safely before we went to the beach, where we found the mysterious boots in the water. I still don't know what it means, but something to do with sitting at the edge of a water with your feet in the water or something. I don't know. Every time I ask someone, they seem to get very blushy and red. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. We then followed it to the farm, where we found out that Miss Maybell might have been kidnapped by wolves, which turned out to be not wolves, but druid people, which we tracked down into the woods, where upon freeing Miss Maybell herself, she decided to take matters into her own hands, and she got herself free after I cut the ropes valiantly to try to save her. Even though I might have put myself in danger by running in between the druids who were trying to keep her prisoner. Yeah. Then we all came back.
All right. Take your experience point. Who's next?
So Mari says, so we went on a grand adventure. It was like an investigation. It's kind of like one of those detective novels or whatever that they write. And we found looking for Miss Maybell, right? So we found that she went to the lake, and then she was like doing something there, but all the adults were really embarrassed about it, and no one really wanted to talk about it. That's still under investigation. And then we went to the dairy farm, and there were cows there, but they only had 4 legs, and they were gross. And so that was a new thing. Surprising twist. And then we went to the woods, and Miss Maybell was a tree, or in a tree. It's really unclear what was going on there. But apparently Miss Maybell and trees are very good friends. And all the adults look terrified. Even more terrified. But we solved the case. And now Miss Maybell's back. And she's going to make it. And she's upset because she doesn't want mushrooms in the food anymore. Mari shrugs and says, I don't know. I eat mushrooms all the time. I didn't really feel anything.
Excellent. Have your experience point.
Well, Araxi's gonna go. Say, so when Miss Maybell was Missy's way, we decided we were going to head out and search for her with Kottle, and Kyle's great. But he's a bit scatterbrained. Let's say he needs to be coaxed along to everything. But anyway, we went down to the beach where they apparently were. The fisherman said that the captain said that they had like gone out on the rock that you all jumped off of, um, and that he like closed the door or closed the window, give him some privacy or something, which seemed weird for jumping off rocks. But anyway, we found their shoes or Miss Mabel's shoes in the water, which was strange. Um, if any of you go to jump off that rock, make sure you take off your shoes first. Take that from us, Anu. Anu know about the water. Um, but anyway, we went from there, and then Kyle told us that Miss Mabel used to like push cows over or something, which everybody has their hobbies. So
Didn't Kottle specifically ask you all to keep that a secret too?
Araxi keeps no secrets. So we went to the dairy farm because that's where the tracks led. And apparently, the wolf druids kidnapped Miss Mabel there. We weren't going to accept that, so we went straight to the herbalist. And the herbalist told us to get the sheriff and that we were headed into the woods. There was no time for us to get sent back. Not that we would have come back anyway. So we went into the trees, or well, they walked on the ground. I went into the trees, and then we needed more eyesight. I picked Mari up and just jumped into the tree with her, and we found Mari's able to find the wolf druids, and they had Miss Mabel like tied up in a tree with like vines and stuff, and um and like it was really scary. And the sheriff has a crossbow. He was like about to shoot somebody when Miss Mabel suddenly like turned into the tree or something, and um, she asked us if we were all hurt, and we weren't hurt. So she she said something about everything being forgiven and just wanted to take us home. But she said that there's some people that wanted to like hurt us or something, and that's why she won't tell us what everything she could do. Oh yeah, and Troll Friend's actually Tree Spirit Friend.
Very good. So you've each earned an experience point for your tale. Let's go through each character and see what they thought about their compatriots. Mari, which of your associates on this adventure was the most helpful? And that could be helpful to you or helpful to the success of the mission. Ed, are you there?
Yeah. Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, Mari.
Oh, yeah.
We're starting with Mari.
Sorry. Yeah. So let's see. I thought so leaping me up into a tree was a good call. I think that really sealed it, because like otherwise we were basically going to be poking around in the woods forever. Those 3 extra helper dice were super useful. So I'm gonna go with Araxi.
All right. Elros, which of your companions contributed the most to either your or the mission's success?
Let's see here. I would say Ed's character.
Mari, and what did Mari do that impressed you?
Oh, you think for a second. I had it. She she was the most knowledgeable and also helped with. It was definitely the best for the job for pick. What's it called? Uh, for the exploring part.
Investigation, yeah.
Yes.
All right. And Araxi, which of your companions deserves the experience point for assisting either you or the mission?
Detective Mari, probably, because Mari's really the one who got us across to the end there.
All right. Yeah, but Mari did a move that definitely saved you guys from taking some tax. Elros also did something very clever at the end there by cutting those signs. Miss Maybell definitely played it off to the other adults like that didn't need to happen, but that was a very good move too. It's not entirely clear that that didn't need to happen. All right. Having heard these stories, Reggie, who stayed behind to help take care of the kids at the orphanage, may have an opinion. To which of these three adventures would well, two, because can't give it tomorrow. Which of the two would Reggie like to give his experience point to?
He'll give his experience to Tice. Reggie says it was wise getting the sheriff. Best to get those people and have them do their actual jobs.
Excellent. And Shari, who presumably was doing, I guess, chores of some kind?
Helping with the younger kids, yeah. Yeah, Shari will give one to Araxi for suggesting the herbalist. Similar reasons, though. It's best to get the adults involved. Shari's not a fan of the sheriff, but the herbalist knows the truth. It makes sense.
Very good. Tice, having heard of these grand adventures, what was Glup's opinion, and who would Glup like to give their experience point to?
Like to give one to Araxi for picking up and tossing the dwarf.
And what about Kyleel?
I would say Ed's character Mari for being for being like the common like collective one.
And on to Vivian. Nest, having heard these tales of adventure, what is their response?
Let's see. Nest would probably give a point to Mari for being right about Trollfriend to being not a troll. And knowing that Trollfriend was actually Tree Spirit Friend makes her feel even better about what she did. And Wampy would give one to Elros for throwing a tomato at the sheriff.
That's a very Wampy thing to appreciate. Alrighty. Let's just do a quick check through each of the characters as well to see what they were doing. So Reggie and Shari were both helping out with the younger kids at the orphanage. What was Glup up to? Oh, it looks like Glup was back with the carpenter. All right. Gonna make another persuasion check on that carpenter, see if you can get a step closer to getting toys.
One success.
Very nice. Only 8 successes left till toys become available. And it looks like Kyleel was also doing carpenter negotiations.
Yep. Nope.
No progress there, but still, some progress was made. All right. Oh, Wampy spent the day working at the general store. Wampy spent the day learning even more about mischief, I take it.
Wumpy now has a +2 in crime and a +1 in persuasion. I'm debating between using my last experience point or not. Because I turned my character point that you gave me into experience for Wumpy.
Okay.
As cool as it would have been to seize control of the mushrooms, I figured that with characters like these, it's just better to use it for experience.
Fair enough.
What else can I drink?
And then Nest was resting off the tax. Is that correct?
Yes, because 8 tax is a little much.
Yeah.
So when I rest, how much more do I recover?
An extra 2 on top of the normal 2. So everybody gets their normal 2 for spending the night, actually getting a non-mushroom induced sleep. And Nest also gets an extra 2 for spending the day not doing anything strenuous. Basically just playing, relaxing.
Nest didn't really play, but you know, in the sense that you might like drink weird shit when you're hungover, Nest like poured orange juice into milk and was like, "What would this taste like?" And I was like, "That's a bad idea."
All right. For the next adventure, there will be a choice. So you'll have the normal adventure list, but there will be the option, and this is a one-time only option, so if you don't take it, it disappears, and that option is to try to attend the trial of the gentleman who is currently in the prison. As the judge will be arriving from Celebre tomorrow to officiate that prisoner's trial. Alright, so that will be an option. If you guys decide not to do it, then that's fine. The trial will happen in the background. It's not mandatory. After all, it's not really any of your business, necessarily, but it might be, if you want it to be. So, yeah. You can make it your business. And that'll be next week. Did anyone have any final things they wanted to take care of tonight before we put the children to bed? Sounds good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we'll pick up next week.